My mother was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and then we knew that for a couple years, and then shortly after we were told that she had pretty advanced dementia. So we knew we had to start looking for nursing homes for her. So I decided to check out St. Mary's home, and when I went in, immediately just the home itself was just, there was a feeling about it. It was beautiful and peaceful, and the people were so welcoming, from the receptionist to, you know, the man walking by with the vacuum cleaner. So I asked, can I speak to somebody about trying to get my mother in here? I spoke with a Sister Gonzag. So she said, well, let me tell you a little bit about us. You know, most nuns, their orders, they take 3 vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. And she said, here we take a 4th vow, and that's of hospitality. And we vow that anyone who walks through our door, anyone, we will treat the very same as we are treating Jesus Christ. And I thought, wow. And she said, you know, where else are you looking? And I said, there is nowhere else. What else can I ask for? So, you know, there's a process in getting her in. They invited my mom for a tour and an interview, and then she had to, you know, we had to wait. Based on that, they would invite her to come and stay for a week-long stay as a trial basis. Well, at the end of the week, when we went to check on Mom and bring her back home, Sister Gonzag said, you know what, I love her. She reminds me of my mother. I can tell she was a giver her whole life. She gave of her heart, she gave of, you know, anything. Every time I walked in her room this week, she said, can I get you anything? And to me, I thought, what a special person this woman is, that my mother is sick now, and to me, in my eyes at that time, she was a completely different person than the one who raised me. But Sister Gonzag was able to see deep into her and see her heart and I think her soul, and she recognized who my mother always was. And you know, she said she was a giver, and it's time for us to give to her and help her. And I thank Sister Gonzag for that.
Father Ted Winston, I met while working at Norwegian, and it was a very interesting encounter. We were in the cafeteria line, and he happened to notice my ring. And I said, yes, sir. I said, it's my ordination ring that I got when I was ordained as a minister. But as we began to converse, I realized that we had more in common than we did differences. And the thing that touched me about Father Ted was his compassion. Father Ted was the first one when someone passed to go to someone's office. He was the first one, even if someone got terminated, to comfort that person. He would go to patients' rooms and he would just stop by just to see how they were doing. And I remember one day telling Father Ted how much I appreciated him. And he said, you know what, Jerry, we talk a lot about doctrine. And what doctrine really is what we believe. But what Father Ted taught me is that there are several things that when we get to heaven, Jesus won't ask us for. He won't ask us how many times we went to church. He won't ask us how much money we gave. But he's going to be very much interested on, did we love our neighbor? Did we treat people with compassion? And that's what Father Ted taught me. And over time, he became a brother to me in ministry. And I really appreciate Father Ted for that.
Earlier this year in March, 1 month ago, I was walking with my friend to the park. I heard 3 shots, and then I felt this huge pain in my right side of my chest. And that's when I looked down at my chest and I realized that I got shot. Father Brandon was the first person to come to the hospital after my accident. He influenced me a lot after my accident because he helped me to be part of this youth group that I actually love now. Before my accident, I didn't take it seriously. Now after my accident, I did, because I just realized life is too short. After this, I wanted to help the community more. You know, help people out, help younger kids not to be on the streets. But now he sees me being part of the community, and our youth group, and helping out, volunteer more. He sees me as capable of doing stuff. And I wanted to show him after all that he did for me.
Sister Mary Beth, if I had to describe her, she's an educator through and through. I don't mean just formal education. I mean, if there's something that needs to be taught, she will teach it. If there's something that needs to be learned, she will learn it and then teach it. She represents the best of what humans do, and that is to teach the next generation. I was working with the order, and we were fundraising for the order, for the Mother House, and I was busy one night, and Mary Beth came in, Sister Mary Beth came in. She had just retired after 43 years of teaching, I believe, and she said, "Terry, I need some help." I said, "Sure, Sister Mary Beth, well, what can I do for you?" She said, "Well, it has nothing to do with the fundraiser you're working on." I said, "That's all right. What can I do for you?" And she said, "Well, I have this bus, and it's a literacy bus." And I said, "Sister, I love this idea. This is it's wonderful. Once you learn how to read, then jobs happen and opportunities open up for you. And once you can read, you can get a license. Once you can read, you can shop better. Once you can read, you can get a job." I mean, there's so much that is hooked up to reading that we take for granted. So her taking on this challenge to go into them, drive in a bus with these men and women that were tutors and teach these women to read, who then could go and actually just something so simple as read a story to your child to bed. And then to know that 20 years later, these children are now men and women that you're hiring, that they learned how to read from their mother, who got their opportunity because some woman in a big old bus drove up down their street and parked in front of their house and taught their mother how to read. That's powerful. That's the American know-how. That's what our religious have done for centuries.
I attended a school called Notre Dame International School. Having attended the school since 7th grade, you always notice the new people. So there was a new brother, which was Brother Paul Bernardzik. What struck me about him was he always had like a great positive, attitude towards us. I didn't really realize the importance of this person in my life till many years later. There was a time just recently, a few years ago, where I had a personal situation with my own child. I was in a situation where I just needed somebody to talk to that could understand me, understood my faith, the church, and I remember calling him and having him come meet me and talking to him and just feeling such a sense of relief for him to be there that many years later in my life, when my life was so different, and be able to still be that guide. It was just an amazing time when I understood that, wow, this person's there for me. This person matters to me.
The Felician sisters, who taught me in high school, really had a tremendous impact on my life. They taught us not just the fundamentals that you expect to receive in a great education, but they really taught us that it was up to each of us to be responsible for making the world a better place. It's not somebody else's job, it's our job. They really expanded how young women thought about themselves and about the world, and empowered us to make changes, to fight for change, to demand change, and to be part of it, to help lead that change. And so in retrospect, there's no doubt in my mind that because of the Felician sisters, I'm a better person today than I would have been otherwise. I have no doubt that they have helped me try to make the world a better place than it would otherwise be.
Llegué aquí a Chicago con mis costumbres mexicanas. Cuando llegué realmente a San Pío, en San Pío conocí al padre Carlos, donde vi que era un sacerdote muy diferente a los de mi pueblo. Y en San Pío realmente, con la ayuda del padre Carlos, con la ayuda de todos los de la iglesia, me enseñaron que simplemente la iglesia no es el ir a rezar, el tener penitencias. Ellos me hicieron sentir que tenía derechos como mujer, que tenía el derecho de expresarme realmente. Ahí me enseñaron a ser realmente madre y mujer a la vez. Yo le agradezco muchísimo tanto a Padre Carlos, a todos los de su equipo, que me guiaron a lo que realmente era mi religión, a lo que era mi amor a Dios, a no tenerle miedo, a saber que mi religión no es mala.
Since the day I was born, I have had a very rich, diverse group of sisters, brothers, priests, diocesan priests, religious priests, all sorts of people from Consecrated Life who have been rooting for me. They have mentored me, they've counseled me, they've challenged me, but most of all, they've prayed for me. 14 years ago, I was pregnant. I was 5 months pregnant, and I found out that the baby I was carrying had a heart defect and Down syndrome. And obviously that was very concerning to my husband and me. It was a difficult time for us. As nuns and priests are wont to do, they asked if they could provide a blessing for me and my baby. They knew I was pregnant, although unbeknownst to them, I had these challenges. They all stood up and they made this gesture of blessing, and I scanned the room. There were 500 people in this room, and every one of them was standing there blessing me and my baby. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I was so overwhelmed, but I suddenly realized that I had this overwhelming feeling that all was going to be well. And so I am so grateful for those prayers, because in fact, all is well. My name is Virginia Mann.
My name is Reverend Jerry Whitaker.
My name is Patrice Tui.
Mireya Rosas.
My name is Barb McCauley.
Hi, I'm Hannah Vick.
My name is Terry Tui.
My name is Fabio Serrano, and I'd like to say thank you.
Thank you, Sister Gonzag.
Thank you, Sister Mary Beth.
Thank you, Father Brendan.
Thank you.
Thank you, sisters.
Thank you, Father Ted.
Thank
Gracias.
you.